How we doing, guys? It's Tej here. I'm coming at you with a video going over the 8 hours of experience I have in BO7. Wanted to do a little review of the game. Um, Initial thoughts and feedback that I have of the game. I do have about 8 hours playing it, like I said. And overall, I've had a really good time. I don't think that there's anything that is too crazy that really hurts the way I feel about the game. Are there things that are annoying? Yeah. Um, but I mean, overall, I feel like the game itself is actually really, really good and might even be one of the better Call of Duties we've had in a while, or it has the potential to be. It definitely feels like, as far as game wise goes, it's one of the best betas we've had. Even though it's only been a day and we only have 3 maps, you can kind of tell just by playing the game. I want to go back here for a second and take a look back at Black Ops 6's beta, and where we were feeling last year, and kind of compare that to how I'm kind of feeling and some of the feelings that I'm getting across the community, that is actually positive, because I know right now we're in a weird area where the community is pretty much split. You have the community that, or you have the part of the community that has a very good outlook on the game, can see the special parts of the game and what makes this game really good. And then you have the negative side where they're pretty much tired of Treyarch's and Activision's bullshit and feel like this game's just a DLC. This game has nothing that actually innovated COD and can't compete with Battlefield. I think it's really popular right now to just hate on the game, which is fine if it's something that you want to be a part of and you want to be a part of the popular crew that's just dogging on the game and doesn't want to really give it a chance, or will give it a game or two and then be like, "Oh, I gave it a chance. I gave it a good old try." And it still makes me want to buy Battlefield 6 or play Battlefield 6, and I'm never going to play this. I'm going to take a year off. Well, I'm sorry to say, but I think this might be the wrong year to take the year off. Just looking at this year and how Treyarch actually is listening to the fan base and making these changes, and then you look at the leaks that Modern Warfare 4 is having, and they're getting rid of everything that we have asked for Treyarch to remove, or that they did remove, that they felt were a better version, or that would they remove things that will make it a better version of what they had. It's just, I just can't understand when people are hating on a game and I can't understand when people are hating on a game that has the developers actually listening and making changes. There may not be all the changes that we want, and that's partially because, uh, you know, the higher ups don't want those things to change. But at least the ones that they can control, they're actually making changes and they're talking to the community. I was sitting in Nate Shot's stream today, and Maddox was in the chat. Matt Skaronczyk, I think that's how you say his name. He's in the chat, chatting it up with Nate, and Um, I was typing in the chat to him, giving him my feedback, and some other people in the chat were giving feedback, and he was actually listening, and hopefully they take that feedback and apply it to the game. I'm also going to give some of that feedback that I said in this video. But they're actually listening to us. And I want to take a step back. And I kind of went on a little tangent there, but I do want to kind of take a step back and look at the Black Ops 6 beta from last year and see where we were at. If you guys remember, I mean, at least in the competitive scene, the competitive side of the community, we all felt like Black Ops 6 had great bones. It was just missing the meat and the flesh of the game, which is the maps. We all said that if the maps were good, this game would be good. And I mean, with the maps that we had at the beta, it was like, they're okay. They're not nothing special. Hopefully, we get some more in the release that are actually good and that play well. Because I think the only one that really felt somewhat good was Rewind. And then the house map, I can't remember its name right now. It's blanking, but those were like the two maps that everybody really felt like were the only two good maps that we played in the beta. So I really think that at that time we were hopeful that we would get good maps, and then that they would also release more maps as the season and the year went on, especially for competitive, to where we had multiple competitive maps that would fit and work really well with the game modes that we were playing. Unfortunately, we only got really one map that went into competitive and was successful, which was Hacienda. But besides that, and we just got the trickling slow roll of the maps and guns, and it was just like a really slow year. But coming off that beta, we were hopeful because of the movement and the gunplay was really good. The maps just didn't live up to it. Now, playing the Black Ops 7 beta and watching all these streamers and YouTubers play the game and give their feedback, a lot of it is positive as far as gunplay, movement, and the maps. The maps are night and day, and I'll get really into that. But the maps are night and day, so that's what like the difference really is that we actually have a look at maps, and they're actually good compared to last year, where we were like, is it? Well, let's wait and see what the rest of the game has to offer. But if they have something that is actually good as far as maps goes, this could be a really good year. This could be a great COD. This game, Black Ops 7, actually feels like it could be a great COD, and there's nothing that really is holding it back but the first thing that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to give the ugly, the bad, and the good. We're going to go in that order. I know most people go the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm going to go in reverse because I want to end this video with a positive view, and also just kind of rid that negativity that honestly I've been feeling in videos and seeing on X. It's not going to go away, but for me, it's almost like a cleansing of doing it this way, where I can kind of cleanse myself. I can see where people are upset, and I can understand where people will hate on the game, but I don't think that this game actually deserves it. So let's get on with it. The ugly. The ugly of this game is what has been plaguing Call of Duty for the last heavily for the last 6 years. Skill-based matchmaking has been a thing, been a complaint for a while. I feel like the first time I heard about skill based matchmaking was more in like IW. Um, and I think that it's just progressively gotten worse year in year out, but it didn't really start getting super strong and super bad until MW 2019, and then it just progressively even faster got worse and worse every year. Um, and this beta has probably the highest skill based matchmaking I've felt in a beta. Um, Now I will say that I do have a bunch of videos and stuff like that that I'll be posting that me actually playing really well, going like 45 and like 9, and I think I have like a 55 and like 17 game or something like that. Um, where it some of the matchmaking actually does feel good and feel rewarding, and you can actually pub stomp. And then you have like that middle ground where it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm trying a little hard, but it's not like anything crazy where I'm still going positive, pretty positive, not having a lot of deaths, and still getting a good amount of kills, sometimes a lot of kills. Um, and then there will be times where you just feel like you hit a wall, you went into a car crash, and you feel how strong the skill based matchmaking is, where I get put into lobbies where sometimes I get put into lobbies where the game's already been going on and there's a guy that's 35 and 5, and I'm like, what is this? And the rest of his team is positive and my team is either struggling or is like even, and it's hard for me to get going and kind of get a feel for the game. Um, but then there's also times where you're starting the game off and it just feels like it is sweaty. You're playing ranked where people are using the movement to their advantage. They all feel like your skill level and or higher at times, and you're just getting outgunned, and it just feels like you're getting ran into a wall. And I honestly, it's not that big of a deal for me. It would be if it was Black Ops 6, because in Black Ops 6 I have pretty much stopped playing it as much as I used to because skill based matchmaking has been so strong. Um, and that paired with how bad the maps are, it just doesn't make a fun game. I've played COD since Modern Warfare 3. Um, One of the things that I did uh, enjoy about the Call of Duties back in the day were that I wasn't very good, but I slowly every game got better and better to the point where I'm at now. Um, the unfortunate part is I didn't get good until skill based matchmaking started really getting strong, and then I didn't get to be able to do all the pub stomping and stuff like that people did back in the day. Um, but I can see where they're coming from, where they want people to just get absolutely demolished when they start playing the game, um, like I did. But there has to be a balance. You have to. I mean, if anything, you can put those people that are just starting or um, have really bad skill in lower lobbies, but then open it up for everybody that's not at that low of a lobby. Some people that are at least decent, but not, you know, high ranks. Allow people to have fun and allow people to also get shit on and allow people to also dominate. If you're getting shit on, you get better. If you're dominating, you just keep dominating. And I don't even mind if they do it like where you still get some strong lobbies. I just don't want to be playing in lobbies that are strong every single time. I want a balance. And I want a balance that's weighted more towards a lower skill and higher skill are mixed together. And then there'll be lobbies that are super strong, like maybe 1 or 2 out of 10 lobbies are like super strong. You're paired with exactly the same skill level, and then the other 9 to 8 lobbies that you're in are a mixture of different skill levels. That would be fine. Even I would even take, you know, a 3-7 split or a 4-6 split. That's fine. But I don't want to be majority of the time where I'm in a sweaty lobby or an even lobby, and 1 or 2 times I'm in a pretty balanced, or I'm at a higher skill level than some of the guys in the lobby. I just think they need to find a way to lower SBMM, find that nice balance to where it rewards players for being good, and then it also gives them a challenge at small percentage of the time. I went on another little rant there, but let's move on. I'm gonna make these next couple a little bit quicker. Here are the potential bad are the cluster nades. If you play some of the smaller maps, or I think the one smaller map, which I can't remember the name of, but if you play some of the smaller maps, I can kind of tell that cluster grenades are going to be insane. Right now, it's the only it's only the only frag that people are using, for the most part. And so you're seeing a bunch of explosions happen, and it's kind of insane. You can't even hear at times. So hopefully that's not something that stays, or it's only like really the small maps that are having that issue. But I could see that potentially being a problem and being a bad, where it's just cluster spam. And you'll probably see it in some of the videos that I post, or the video that I'm putting on here, depending on which ones I decide to put with this video. I definitely think that if anything, clusters may need to be put into a field upgrade, possibly, depending on how crazy it is. I think that might be able to balance it out, but we'll have to wait and see. The next bad I have is doors. There are way too many doors. I know they took out the manual doors for automatic doors, but there's still way too many doors. I would like to see them take, majority of them out, maybe keep like 2 or 3 per map, maybe 4 if it makes sense, depending on the size of the map. But I don't think that it needs. I think there's like 8 to 9, sometimes even 10 doors per. And it doesn't make the game feel fun at times. It is more annoying, having to go up to a door, run, and then somebody's right there and you just can't see them, or even like trying to be stealthy and trying to make a play where either you're going to have to shoot the door to get it open so that you can run through it, which gives you away on the mini map if you don't have a suppressor, or the doors make noise and somebody, if they're sound horning, can hear them open. So that it doesn't allow you to play stealthy as well. I think it's just more of an annoying thing, to just have to constantly run through doors still, even if they're automatic, and how close you have to get for them to open. And then it's just a stealth issue. The other bad I have is that dexterity does feel like a crutch perk. It is very needed for movement to feel smooth in this game, because you can't slide and aim down sight or ADS. You can't slide in ADS. You can't. Wall jump in ADS. You can't dolphin dive in ADS. It a step in the wrong direction from where we are at, and especially when we're going to a futuristic game, it just feels like a step in the wrong direction from where we were from Black Ops 6. like I said, the movement kind of does feel a little clunky when you have to go into the tack stance. Um, kind of look when you're shooting your gun while sliding in, especially while wall jumping. So it kind of forces you to have to run dexterity, and that means you can't run any of the other perk three. Especially like if people want to run tack sprint, unless you're going to run perk greed, you can't run tack sprint. And then at the same time, if you're running perk greed, majority of the time people are not going to want to run a perk 3 slot in the perk greed slot. Sorry, that was a little hard to get out. But nobody's going to want to run a perk 3 slot in the perk greed spot. It's going to be used for a perk 1. It's going to be used for probably tack, flak jacket, um you know, gun ho maybe, and then ninja. So you're already going to be taking up a spot with those, so you're not going to be able to use any other perk 3 other than dexterity. I would like for Treyarch to go and change movement to where you don't need dexterity, and dexterity just becomes the same as what it was in Black Ops 6. And I'll put the contrasting perks of dexterity from Black Ops 6 and BO7 here. But I would like to see them make those changes so that it's not needed for ADSing while sliding and while diving and wall jumping, to make the game just feel a little bit more smoother right off the bat without having to add that perk. Um, let's go to the good. Let's end with the good. The HUD is clean, futuristic looking. I really like it. I like having the health bar on the left side, and I just like the way the orange kind of pops with the HUD on the gun. And then the map is pretty clean. I would probably prefer them to kind of zoom it out a little bit. It does feel a little too zoomed in, but besides that, I mean, the HUD is really nice. Um, it's different too than what we've had for the last couple of years. I feel like the last couple of years, it's all felt pretty much the same. So that's a little bit refreshing to have something a little bit different. Um, movement and wall jumping, with dexterity, it feels amazing. Like it's so buttery smooth. Wall jumping just seems like it's uh, easy to use and control, and there's different ways that you're going to be able to use it, and with more time, people will learn how to kind of use it for gunfights and stuff like that. Right now, me personally, I'm using it to either get up into certain areas of the map um, that you can't just straight up jump into, or sometimes get into it a little bit cleaner than just jumping up and grabbing onto a ledge. And then I'm using it into like gunfights around corners. But besides that, I mean, it doesn't feel like it's too overpowered. The wall jump doesn't feel like it's too overpowered. It doesn't feel like it's something that I necessarily have to do every time. I can pretty much play like a normal boots on the ground on majority of like my gunfights and stuff like that. I'm not using it to win majority of gunfights. So I think that it was a good addition just to freshen things up, change the way the game has been played for. I mean, what we're on 8 years of boots on the ground. We needed something to freshen it up. I mean, it was getting kind of stale just doing boots on the ground consistently. Last year kind of freshened it up with the Omni movement, but this just feels so refreshing, feels so nice. Is a good addition, and it's a good balance between going full advanced movement and keeping boots on the ground. This, if people are open to the game, it should be a nice little, a nice little add to kind of freshen up the game, like I've said. The other thing I have is that guns feel really good. besides the Drevik, I don't think any guns really need too much balancing right now, from what I can tell, until we get the full game, except for the Dravik. The Drevik is that thing is insane. It doesn't really move without even without attachments, so there's not really a lot of recoil, and it melts people. Even once you put attachments on it, it makes it just even easier. And you'll see that in probably another video that I have that I'll be uploading where I just went insane with it. Um, the next thing I have is a huge W. That I think the next two things I'm going to talk about to close out this video are huge W's. Score streaks. Score streaks are powerful, like really powerful. It's something we haven't had in COD since probably, I would say probably since at least Black Ops 3. I don't think IW had powerful streaks. World War II had good streaks, but they weren't really powerful. They didn't really reward you that much, I feel. And then Black Ops 4 really didn't have any, I think, good streaks. At least not that I can remember, to be honest. And if they did, it wasn't like these streaks. But anything 2019 or after, the streaks have been so meh that it really doesn't matter. You're going to run the same 2-3 streaks, UAV, counter UAV, and maybe one other like crazy streak that allowed you to get kills. That wasn't really that powerful. This game has some powerful streaks. Like the Gravedigger is an insane streak. I've used it a couple times, and just being able to snipe people through walls is fun, strong as hell, and it looks insane. I can't remember what those little drones are, but the little Raps drones are really cool. They're really strong. They get a lot of kills. And I mean, just looking at like the warship that you get at the final streak that you can get, that looks strong. Watching Scump play with it at Next, it looked really strong, really fun. So I think we're in for a treat this year with streaks, and it's going to be rewarding to go on those streaks, even with SBMM. If you can go on a streak in SBMM, you at least are going to feel rewarded. It's going to suck because you're going to be in sweaty lobbies, but at least if you can get those streaks, you'll feel rewarded. And then you'll be able to shit on the people that are in your skill bracket that are making it tough. I did streak out a couple times. I'm not very known for my streaking. I don't really streak that often. At least not since, not in a while. Last year I could pretty much do a good amount of streaking, but this game I've done it a couple times, and it's felt rewarding and it's felt good. I'm a very aggressive player, so I'm really in your face a lot of the times. I don't play methodically and slow at times, or majority of the time. But when I do, I feel rewarded with these streaks 100%. So I think we're going to be in again for a really good, fun year with the score streaks as well. Final thing is going to be the maps. The maps are the biggest W that we have. Like the one big complaint that a lot of people had that made Black Ops 6 not fun and not one of the better CODs we've had in a while was that the maps were just terrible. And, when you look back at Modern Warfare 3, the Modern Warfare 3 had SBMM. SBMM was pretty strong. But you know why people kept playing it? Was because, one, there were a lot of things to do. You had the weekly challenges, which we're going to get back in this game. That's another massive W. But the maps were fun to play and were good. Even though that they were maps we had it back in the original Modern Warfare 2, they still were fun to play, and paired with the guns just played really well. The game played really well. And then they come out and add so many post release maps that were really good as well. And, you could kind of stomach and get through the year playing that game because of the maps. And you could stomach SBMM because at least you were playing on maps that were good. Right? In Black Ops 6, you can't do that. You can't stomach how strong SBMM is. You can't forget about how strong SBMM is because of how bad the maps were. I feel there may have only been 3 or 4 good maps that were put in that game. Hacienda being one of them, Firing Range being another one, and then the new map that they brought in with Season 5, mid-season, the casino map, I can't remember, which is just a remake from a Black Ops 4 map. That map is really fun to play too. I'm not saying it's a competitive map. The other two are, old school competitive and then a current competitive map. But those maps were made for games that actually had good maps. And that's why they were pulled and put into this one, because we lacked a lot of good maps. But the problem was it took so long for us to get those maps. Hacienda was like right off the bat, right? And then we got Firing Range. I want to say like Season 3, maybe Season 2, but I feel like it's Season 3. And then we just got this casino map, Season 5. It was a slow roll. It was a drip feed. It was, I'm hooked up to a line and I'm just waiting to die essentially at this point, because I'm not getting the nourishment that I need from these developers. And obviously that was due to because they were building this game. And they were holding on to a lot of the maps apparently for Black Ops 7. Was it right? No. Does it suck? At least within the time of playing Black Ops 6, yeah. Hopefully that those maps are good and they do fit the mold of this game. But from what I can tell right now and playing the beta and watching the other maps that were played at Next that will be in the beta, we're in for a good year. All these maps look so good. They flow so well. It doesn't feel clunky and feel weird moving from lane to lane. There's not a lot of clutter. There's not a lot of things just sitting everywhere, like in other games where it's like they throw random boxes, random crates, and whatever random stuff, just a bunch of random things on the map to where it just felt so cluttered and there's not a lot of space to move. And when you do move, it's just like you're running into a bunch of other stuff. It feels all fluid. Every map feels pretty much fluid. Nice connectors. They're all pretty much symmetrical. They're just good maps. They feel like Call of Duty maps. The good thing is, and a lot of people I've seen are saying that, this game's a DLC and all that, and well, yes, the movement is the same as Black Ops 6. The difference is the maps are good, the colors are good, the guns are different, and those are like the biggest things that you need to be different. And the score streaks are different. The score streaks are way better than Black Ops 6. And another thing that people have said is that, it's not a good thing when people are saying these maps could be in other Call of Duties. Yes, it is. These maps feel like they could have been put in a Black Ops 2, a Black Ops 3, a Black Ops 4, and felt fine. And that's a good thing because that means they're good maps. These maps have the potential to be, like historically great maps potentially, if they have been executed right and we play them and they all play well. I feel like this game has more potential to have maps that could be remastered in the future than any game we've had since Black Ops 4. Like, I definitely think that this game has maps that can be remade. These maps you can tell are good just by playing them. You can tell they're good maps. They're balanced. Like I said, they're symmetrical. No side really feels like it has that big of an advantage over the other. Game modes play really well on them. I do feel like maybe spawns do need to be adjusted, but we're in a beta, so that knowledge that they're getting and all the statistics that they're getting are going to help them fix spawns. But pretty much all the maps we've had, I've played Hardpoint on them. Hardpoint plays really well on them. I've played Kill Confirmed on them. They all play really good with Kill Confirmed. And Domination feels really good too. They're very defined lanes. They're not cluttered. And they don't have weird gimmicks like in Protocol where you have to use the zip to get up and down to places. They're just traditional Call of Duty 3-lane maps, which is a good thing. It's a great thing. And people need to realize that, obviously what we've been trying to do for the last couple of years, or what they've been trying to do for the last couple of years, hasn't been working with maps. We haven't had good maps at launch and right away in a long time. You could say maybe Modern Warfare 3, but at the same time, those were all pretty much remastered maps. So I wouldn't even count those. Their maps were better when they released them later on with 6-star and, a couple of the other maps that they had after release. But these are the best launch maps, and they feel amazing. And I'm very excited. I can't wait to get my hands on more and just see how they flow and how they feel. But I don't think I ever felt bored. Well, actually, you know what? I know I didn't feel bored playing this game when I was going for the last 8 hours trying to play. At least I didn't, and I wasn't getting bored either I wasn't getting bored from the maps. I think the only time I really needed to take a break was just because skill base was getting a little high, and I just needed a little break to kind of slow things down a little bit. But that's just like, again, that's something that's not going away. But with only having 3 maps, it's kind of hard to kind of get that variety, even with skill base. But good maps can help prevent with good maps, that can help prevent the SBMM kind of monotony and irritation and fatigue that can come with SBMM. I really feel that way because playing Call of Duty the last couple of years, the games that have had good maps, I was able to get over the fatigue. And I mean, you're talking about like Vanguard. I think Vanguard had pretty decent maps. I'm not saying that they're amazing maps, but they had enough decent maps to where it didn't affect me as much. Cold War had maps where it was like it didn't really matter. I think the maps that did were like MW2, where I didn't even play really pubs because I just played ranked. Because at least if I'm playing something that has strong SBMM, rank is where I want to be. And then MW3 was, they had good maps, so I was able to play pubs on that, and it was fine. It didn't really matter too much to me, where I'm just like, oh, I've got to get off, like Black Ops 6 had. I went on a tangent. I went on a rant. It's a 40-minute video, so I'm gonna leave it there at that. Yeah, I mean, just try the game out if you haven't tried it. Be open to it. I know SBMM sucks, and hopefully they can at least lower it. Hopefully Matt can go to Activision and put his foot down and say this is what needs to happen for us to have a great year and a great game, because that's what's going to need it. We don't need SBMM killing this game. But we'll have to wait and see on that. And I mean, I just think that this game has so much potential, and I'm very excited for the future of this game and all of next year. But I'm going to wrap it up there. You guys have a great time doing whatever you're doing. I will be back with some more videos later. See you guys later.